So the big question as the primary voters prepare to cast their ballots, does Nikki Haley stand a snowflake's chance in hell of winning the primary?
Beautifully put together, Michael, and welcome to beautiful New Hampshire, where I'm happy to report the temperature is just snuck into the positives in Celsius. You would think usually in a two-horse race that both equines have a pretty good shot, but the polls would suggest this is very much Donald Trump's race to lose. The departure of Ron Desantis from this race was significant. Perhaps even more significant was his endorsement of the former president. Nikki Haley needs to do well here in New Hampshire. The strength of Donald Trump's win in Iowa and his astounding lead really here in New Hampshire at the moment would mean that if he does as well as the polls suggest, that this could be a decisive end to this race. In modern history, no Republican has won both the caucuses in Iowa and then the primaries here in New Hampshire. So if Donald Trump was able to do both, you would think that would effectively clear the field. It seems that Nikki Haley's best chance might actually be outside the Republican base. Here in New Hampshire, people who are undeclared voters, means they haven't declared to be either a Democrat or Republican, are able to actually vote in either contest. And at the moment, that's about 40 to 45% of the electorate here in New Hampshire. But what might be even more significant is a group of Democrats who have changed their status to undeclared, to independent, in order to vote. Now, we're about to hear from one man who's done that. He's a former chairman of the Democratic Party here in New Hampshire, but then also hearing some wise counsel from a political analyst who suggests that we need to be careful about over-egging how big a factor this might be.
The idea is to vote for anybody but Trump, to try to reduce Trump's margin in the primary, to make him a little weaker than he is, and to demonstrate that although there may be a hardcore Republican bloc for Donald Trump, he's not the favorite of voters in general in New Hampshire or around the United States.
Efforts to encourage Democrats to go over into the Republican primary and vote for Haley or somebody not Trump, but that's hard to do. It's hard enough to get people to come out and vote in their own party's primary than to get them to come out and vote in the opposite party's primary.
So the question of whether or not Democratic voters will be decisive in this Republican race remains to be seen. Donald Trump is already preparing the groundwork, if you will, suggesting that if Nikki Haley were to beat him in New Hampshire, it would be because of a conspiracy to bring in outsiders to the party. Now, the Democrats are also voting here in New Hampshire tomorrow, but there is a fight between the state party and the national party about the timing of this particular contest. So Joe Biden, the President of the United States, is not actually on that ballot. There will be efforts to get him to be written in, but that's why we're so focused on the Republican race. Joe Biden not really facing a competitive race in the Democratic contest, but Democrats will be casting ballots.
Okay, Carrington Clark, thank you.